Hey people, Rob LaFond here. Hope you're doing well. I just got back from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm working on closing my business. I'm going to give an honest video here. And this is just my experience and my suggestion. You don't have to listen to me. You can just take it with a grain of salt or whatever you like. But this is just my experience after I've been in Colombia for 8.5 years. And I've had my business here for 7 years. I got here in 2017 and my business officially got started in 2018. I believe it is right around this time. So I think it's actually like 7 years almost exactly. I don't have the actual data, could look that up, but I think it was around March of 2018 that I started the business, and it's like March of 2026 that I'm closing the business. And so I just want to say, like, if this is my opinion, but if you want to come here and do business, hit me up. I'll help you with the consulting. I'll do it. You know, I can help you through the process. I know how to do it. But my real advice is I wouldn't start a business here in Colombia, to be honest with you. And there's a few different reasons for that. The biggest reason is how they treat small to medium-sized businesses here. It's a lot of bureaucracy and it's a lot of taxes. And here's the thing, this has been my experience. I think a lot of the businesses here in Colombia, especially the small to medium-sized businesses, they float stuff just around. They just do it kind of like they're not really seen by the government. They just float stuff or whatever. They're not paying all the taxes and all that stuff. But if you're a foreigner and you want to have like a legitimate business, like I have a SaaS, and you want to have like what's the equivalent to a LLC in the United States, something like that. You know, you have to pay a lot of taxes and you have to do a lot of legal stuff. And so unless your business, it's for me, it was really hard to make, like I had the clients, I had everything. And my experience is to make enough money, you have to charge your clients like a lot of money, like actually American prices to actually pay the taxes and do everything legally. It's very difficult to do. So if you do something like, you can kind of do it like medium, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to, I don't know, but then you kind of run the risk of not I think people, they criticize you more, that you're more under the scope, on the light if you're a foreigner and you know you're doing your business to have a visa. Then they're going to look at all the stuff a lot more, make sure you're paying all the stuff. They're much more on you than they, I guess, would be with like maybe someone, a local here who has a business. They'll let things slide, hey, you know. And so that's been my experience. And there's a lot of bureaucracy of like starting a business and closing a business. Closing a business was actually just as difficult as opening it, like the process, and getting things to stop are hard. It's like stopping I closed my business, but now like stopping the pension and the salute and all this stuff, it's actually like not easy to do. It's not like straightforward. It's like having a gym membership where they have you on a contract and they're like, I just want to have, we don't have a business anymore. We don't have employees. We don't want to pay people anymore. And it's like, to stop the process is like complicated. You have to do all this bureaucratic, like legal, like this work. And it's like, it's a big process to close it down. It's not easy and it's expensive, to be honest with you. Closing a business has been as hard, if not harder, than opening a business here. The other thing is, I mean, if you do want to open a business here and you work with foreigners, or you're doing business, I guess, here in Colombia, but not within the system, that's okay, right? So that actually works. So if you, I don't know, I have friends that, you know, sell properties, that's actually within the system, but maybe the amount of money they make is actually worth it. Also, if you're working with foreigners, like I think you can have businesses here working for foreigners and the infrastructure is working with foreigners, then it can work out. But there's also a way you can do business. You work online or you work on different ways and you're not actually seen by the general system here. I think that works better. And we just have a different way of doing business. Like my experience in Colombia is that every single little thing, every single task takes like a million, like I say, well done, like turns to do something very simple. Whereas like at least how we do business in the United States, I'm not saying the United States is better, Colombia is worse. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying the business practices are a lot easier in my experience when I've done business. It's like, you want to do this in the United States? Okay, this is how you do it. You work as this type of person, and then you have to pay this taxes, and that's it. And that you go there and you tell them there is still bureaucracy, like right? In the DMV and all these places they have to go. So I'm not saying there's not bureaucracy. There is bureaucracy in the United States, but the business practices tend to be like a little bit just more efficient and streamlined, and people like know how to do it. Whereas here it's like no one actually knows the process. So you have to go through a bunch of turns and be like, oh, you have to do this. Or like I went to the Chamber of Commerce and I closed my business and like I wanted to do it. Like they have to like, I still have to like write a letter. Like this is like 1950 style. Like I have to write a letter and in physical on paper and say like, I'm closing my businesses, which makes sense. But like, I mean, I was like, can we just make it digital right here? Like why am I going to go back, write this thing that says, hi, my name's Rob, I'm closing my business. And then print it and then come back. It's like the process is like ridiculous. It's just like, can I just pay you and close my business? Like I'm closing it, I'm telling you I'm closing it. I have the ID that I'm the only owner, but that's just how they do it here. But I'm just saying, you want to know about all this stuff. If you're even thinking about opening a business here, like there's like a million things you need to know. And if you want help, like if you have decided, hey, you know what, I want to take the risk, I want to do it, and maybe this type of business could actually work. There is people who have had businesses here. I've seen like real estate stuff work. I've seen like other people who have businesses that maybe they don't have to deal with the bureaucracy. I had a business which is a physical location, so you have to deal with espacio público, all these other forces that like don't have actual regulations. They just change the regulations depending on how they feel for the day. So it's like it's impossible to like prioritize things, and it's impossible to actually like look forward to your business and say like I'm gonna have these costs and this thing's coming up, because every time I was doing business, it'd always be like, oh, but you need to pay this thing that's a few million pesos, equivalent to like $600-700, $1,000 that just came up out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, but I want to project my business. I want to know what my expenses are. So it's very hard to do in Colombia because I feel like there's always these random forces, and all of a sudden there's like random things. Like you just owe this a bunch of money for this, or we didn't know about this thing for your sign of your business and it was open in another place, you didn't close, and now you owe all this extra money for this thing you don't have anymore. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's very hard, the processes. And then if you don't pay something or close something down, like they won't notify you. And then like years later, they're like, you owe $5,000. You're like, okay, but I closed that business years ago. And they're like, no one told you. And there was some bill accumulating somewhere, but they didn't notify you either. So it's very complicated. Like I said, you can't project. And so you have to be very specific. And sometimes it's better to, if you want to try businesses, to just try it and see. Maybe you don't do all the stuff, all the paperwork first, because you want to see if it's going to work first. Because once you start everything here in Colombia, once you start the process and you start putting the charging you for everything, then it doesn't stop. There's no way to say, okay, let me stop this actually. So when you pay for certain things, I paid for to have music in my bar. It was like expensive, and it's like you can't stop it. Even though I don't have a space, I have to like go down there and close it down. It's not like a form online where I can say, hey, or maybe there is, I don't know. That's one thing I'm to look into. But it's not as straightforward, all these things. Like it's hard to close things and open things, and the processes are not straightforward. And a lot of people, even who work in these places, don't know the processes. It's getting better. Like when I first started, it was like, when I was a foreigner, I'm like, I just need an ID or I need stuff. People looked at me like I was an alien. They're like, what? I'm like, well, I went to this place. They told me to come here and do this. This is the process. And then they'd be like totally confused. I'm like, I'm just getting an ID. I have a visa. This must be like thousands of people going through the same thing, right? But they don't really like put the process in place and then like, teach the people in the different businesses how to handle the different situations. And they don't also give them the power to like resolve things. So it's like they don't have the power to resolve things and they don't know how to do it. So then you get there and they're just like, I don't know how to do it, and I don't really have the power to resolve it. Like I can't take action really. And so you just at this like stopping point, and there's nothing you can do. And that happens a lot in Colombia. And I get it. The powers that be don't want people to know about that much about the business, because they don't have, it's a lot of things they like with trust. They don't trust people like trying to take over their businesses and stuff like that. So they keep the people like not informed, and that way, and then that's like also they're not informed, but they also can't do things. So you get stuck in this loop of just like nothing, you can't move forward. And so it'll stop your business. Like you'll be trying to do something, you'll even have clients who are like ready to do stuff. I want to sell, I want to have a credit card machine, I want to do this stuff, and you can't something happens and you can't move forward, you have to wait months because there's still waiting for some little thing for someone to see, or you can't, you know what I mean? It's like that happened with my credit card machine, and I couldn't get it to work because I had to wait for something, but then there was no way to like push the process faster. Like I just had to wait for certain things. It's getting better, like I said, but I don't know. There's been a lot of experiences through the years that have just been very tricky. So my overall thing, and there's been a lot of businesses that have come here and they've closed. I heard that like Levi's came here, but then they tried to run business, but they think the products weren't coming out good and nothing was consistent. And then they just had a lot of problems. So they went to China and then they moved there. So it's a lot of bigger corporations and companies that come here and they try to do business. But since Colombia does not have the infrastructure to do it, they leave because they just, like a big business just gets frustrated. Like, we want this, this, and this. We have a bunch of money. We want to do that. And Colombia is like not ready for it. So I've heard of that happening a lot. And I've heard a lot of the businesses, I think it's, this guy was telling me, I don't know about the stats, but it's like, there's like 15,000 businesses that open every year in Medellín. And then I think like 75% of them close. And that's probably true anywhere. But I think in the next 2 to 3 years, like almost all of those ones close. So there's no real businesses that last a long time. And even if you have a business that lasts a long time, there's a lot of other forces. So it's tricky to do business here, I'll be honest with you. The lifestyle, I love. I'm saying all this stuff just to be honest, but I love the culture here. I love living here. The ambience. I'm obviously still doing stuff here, and I love talking about Colombia. I love the natural life, the outside, the parks, just the spaces and the plants and all that stuff. I love like the natural life of Colombia. It's actually one of my favorite things, and that's one of the reasons I'm still here. And the people, there's a lot of great people, and the general public is amazing, and so that's why I'm here. But doing business for me was definitely difficult. I would say if you're thinking about it, like put on some tough skin, or maybe you could live here for a while and run a business, or find another way to do it. So there's other ways to live here and not be so involved in the business life structure. I'm just saying you really want to think that through. If you have questions, let me know. A lot of people ask me questions. They want to meet up for coffee, but if you really want to get a down low and actually just have an hour or two meeting with me, I do consulting. It's way worth your time to talk to me because I've had all this experience. So, you can say, I want to try to do this. And I'm telling you, an hour or two with me with consulting, I'll be able to at least give you the information. You'll be more informed about what you want to do and if it's possible or what the risks are. And so I'm available for that. I like to help people out, but I also want to value my time. And that's it. I'm here in the city of Eternal Spring in Laureles. I love this neighborhood. I love my life here. And follow me on LaFond Social on Instagram. Obviously, this is the YouTube as well. I do social events. We do like a little running. We do like a little running group on Saturdays. I'm going to be doing some other networking events. This is a great place to network if you're doing businesses like marketing online or for different countries or different stuff like this. Is a great place to be. You can meet foreigners and start businesses within those groups. That's a good thing. You can follow me personally on Rob LaFond is my personal Instagram. And like I said, there's a lot of networking, a lot of stuff. The city is growing internationally, but doing business directly here is a challenge. So I just wanted to make this video, be honest. I just left the Chamber of Commerce and was talking to a guy in the taxi, and he was telling me a lot about just the history of Colombia and all that stuff. I know a lot about it, and I've heard a lot of the stories. I've been here so long. So, like I said, I'm fluent in Spanish, and I talk to a lot of people, and I get a lot of perspectives of people. I met people in Alcaldía. I met people who are lawyers, accountants, taxi drivers, the whole scope of people I've talked to and got their opinion. So, anyways, I love you all for joining me. Please leave comments and let me know what you think. And also, let me know what topics you want to hear about. If there's something I'm not covering on my channel that you want to know about, let me know. If you have any specific questions, also hit me up. And I'm signing out from the city of Eternal Spring. Ciao for now.